Hi everyone, it's me, Ken Sparkle, or the Sparkle Girl. So today I am going to talk about Miraculous Ladybug. So I know some of you will probably like Miraculous Ladybug as well, and I understand that. So let's just say there are some few things to talk about Miraculous really, and let's just say it is my favorite after all. So let's just say I've always loved Miraculous the same way I love Malapuni. You know, some of you might find it obvious because I know some of you have seen Malapuni sometimes before. Well, the G book, with Twilight Sparkle and that. So yeah, so don't get me wrong. Um, Miraculous Ladybug can be a bit reminding of Malapuni from time to time. It kind of depends on whatever. But what I'm saying that Miraculous is just one of my best favorite things to like and watch. And besides, like I said before, it is definitely my favorite show to watch and to like. I mean, it's kind of harder to explain why it's my favorite. I mean, sometimes it is kind of easy to explain a little bit of it, but sometimes when you're trying to talk about in good details about why you love it so much, it can give you a bit of a circle in the brain. You guys can probably agree with me with that on that point sometimes. It kind of depends on the person, that's what I mean. And I bet Sophie will probably think the same thing as I do. Like can't think straight sometimes when you're trying to talk about this or that. So yeah. So anyway, let's just say I've been a huge fan of Miraculous since 2018. Well, let's just say I remember seeing the actual episode of it, and if I'm not mistaken, it was, well, obvious for me, well, it was Where That. It's because I saw it in, I would say Spanish, and I remember watching it in Spain, and I was on a holiday at the time, back in 2000, I would say 18. No. Oh, sorry, in 2019 it was. Sorry, I keep forgetting. But all I'm saying, because I think it was 2018, sorry, like I said, I get confused sometimes. Like I said, can't think straight. So it kind of depends because my memory can sometimes change sometimes while growing up. So that's what I mean. So I just remember watching that episode in Spanish in Spain in those years past, and I remember watching it with my dad, I think, and he was like interesting with it as well because he asked me like few different questions about Miraculous, and I told him some few little bits of it because I don't want to bore him or anything. So yeah, I just like Miraculous for many reasons. Like I like it because it's about superheroes. And actually, can I just get this correctly? Miraculous is actually a bit similar to Spider-Man and Sailor Moon. I know, surprising, isn't it? Well, let's just say the show itself is a bit, well, it can be quite similar, well, almost similar to Sailor Moon. That's what I'm saying here. But if you think about when Marinette turned into Ladybug, her appearance as Ladybug kind of reminding us with Spider-Man from time to time, and the way she does her um, fighting actions and all that, like battle the villains and all that. I'd just say the way she flies in the air, it's kind of a bit similar to Spider-Man a few times. So yeah, you can't possibly, blame me for thinking stuff like that because I got this sort of memory that I remember something about some few people seem to be mentioning about Marinette can be a bit similar to Spider-Man. And I have heard and believe that almost everyone seems to ship Marinette as Ladybug or just herself with that guy or Spider-Man, and his real name is actually called Peter Parker. Yeah, well, let's just say Peter Parker and Marinette were Ladybug. Let's just say almost everyone seems to be shipping them two. so we can't possibly blame them for that because, for obvious reasons that I mentioned just then. Although I do kind of find it okay. I do kind of ship them a little bit, not too much though, since I usually ship Marinette and Adrian together. And that's also one of the best reasons to like Miraculous Wit anyway, because let's just say Marinette and Adrian are both the main characters of the show, and they also the main couples in right now, actually. Because let's just say, from the beginning of the series, let's just say they both hadn't known each other for a long time, because let's just say, I remember from the origin episode, Adrian was actually a new student in that episode, and when he met Marinette, she thought that he was the one who put a bubble gum on Marinette's seat, but it was actually Chloe who did that. And Adrian kind of declines to Marinette by saying about that he was trying to take it off, but Marinette didn't even bother listen to him, and then she just giving him a quiet sort of a little hate sort of behavior towards him. Well, can't possibly blame her for that, can we? Because and besides, I mean, they only just met at that moment, so you can't possibly blame Marinette for not liking Adrian at the first time, until she started to like him a bit, well, they'll say a little bit more at the end of the part 2 origin episode, after when Adrian finally tells the truth and handing the umbrella in a beautiful rain scene. And the way the thunderstorms just clapped, Marinette literally had a sort of moment that she realized that she had a biggest crush on Adrian just after that. Well, I know it's too soon to have a crush on someone that you just met or barely know, but it doesn't really that matter sometimes. But let's just say, well, it's kind of, I don't know. I just kind of think Marinette does, well, let's just say she does have a good point to like Adrian sometimes, because after all, he is a kind gentleman, so I can't possibly blame her, or possibly blame Adrian. So yeah. And yes, well, let's just say if you remember from the part 1, the both actually did met for the first time, but only as Ladybug and Cat Noir. But if you remember from the part 2, they met again, but as their normal selves. But they don't know that they actually both, Ladybug and Cat Noir, or Chat Noir for French version. But let's just say, I know it's hard for all of us to get, get along with this whole thing about both Marinette and Adrian doesn't know each other's identities as both normal selves and superheroes and all. And let's just say, it's actually part of the rules for being a superhero. Never ever, really never ever, reveal your identity. Because sometimes you just have to keep yourself safe. Don't let all your family or friends or whatever in danger. And that's what Marinette always says in every episode. To Adrian as Cat Noir or to some other characters, something like that. Okay? And let's just say, I also like the love square, between both Adrian and Marinette, but also when they as, Ladybug and Cat Noir. And let's just say, there are some 4 names for each of the love square, and they are called Lady Noir, Ladrian, Marisha or Mericat, and Adrianette. I know, and I know that there are different names, but even though they are the same people, but they're just the names for the same 2 characters who with different identity, Tell me about it, baby. Oh boy. It's like going in circles or falling in the squares. Whew. And I also have some other few reasons why I like Marinette, or sometimes as Ladybug, something like that. And let's just say there are some few reasons why I like Marinette for a reason. it's because she kinda easily reminded me with Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony. Well, let's just say, they may have few differences, but they do have some few quite similarities to one another. Like they're both caring for their loved ones, and they always like to save the day. They always wanted to make sure everything goes right, you know, and make sure everything goes perfectly well, something like that. And besides, they both also can have their own sort of mental issues, you know, like you think about it, in My Little Pony with Twilight Sparkle, she always like stressing out when things goes wrong. But let's just say, you can't possibly blame Twilight. I mean, even though we're not really meant to talk about My Little Pony, but let's just say, Marinette can be quite similar to that sometimes. If you guys remember from the in season 4, Marinette was struggling because keeping all those things to herself about being Ladybug and her responsibilities as a new guardian of those miraculous items. And yeah, I just kind of feel sorry for both Marinette and Twilight because keeping all those things and thoughts, like bottling them into your own heads, I just don't think it's really right at all. You should never keep them to yourselves. If you really need help, always talk to someone that you could possibly trust the most. Like Olia for Marinette, something like that. Or maybe Celestia for Twilight Sparkle, because she trusts Celestia the most, doesn't she? So can't possibly blame Twilight anyway. But like I said, we're not here to talk about Twilight Sparkle or My Little Pony. We're here to talk about Miraculous Ladybug. Okay, I'm overdoing it. So yeah, so there are some few characters to like in the show as well, aside from Marinette and Adrian, and they are like Olia. I don't like Nino, he's okay, and they also I used to like Chloe, but she's starting to get on my nerves now, so I'm starting to hate her even more. She's just getting ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. Okay? But I also started to like Zoe, so I would say Zoe is my second favorite after Marinette. Or maybe I should say third favorite cause like I said, I like both Marinette and Adrian just as I started to love Miraculous. So let's just say Marinette is my first favorite character, Adrian is my second, and Zoe is my third one. And let's just say my fourth favorite would definitely be Alia. Yeah, because she's really smart and confident. She's brave, and she always very active, and she does do like these Miraculous Ladybug blogs all about Ladybug and all that. All kinds of things about, Miraculous, saving the day. And I do like Luca as well from time to time. And I also like Julica. And I also like Rose. Yeah. And speaking about Julica and Rose, I also seem to like both Julica and Rose together. And I know some of you already know that they both actually are in love with each other. Ever since the season 1. I mean, wow. I mean, can't possibly, blame them for liking each other more than being just best friends. It can happen with some best friends in real life as well. Oh yeah, boy. And I also don't mind Alex. Well, let's just say she's okay to be fair. But I don't mind when she's as Bonix, the grown-up version. Well, maybe. But I still like her, your regular Alex from the season 1 until she kind of left in season 5. Although she's still there, but she will return sometimes at the end of the season, I think. That's what I heard. But I'd rather not speak much about that because let's just say I'm not really into spoilers, to be honest. Let's just say I have believed there are loads of people seem to be sharing all those leaks from the the storyboards and all kinds from the people who works on Miraculous. I just find it disrespecting, like for shaming all those leaks, like for nothing. I know that people who are seem to be a fan of Miraculous, but there's honestly no need to share us those leaks because like I said, I just find it disrespecting. Like, no matter how much you like Miraculous, you honestly do not need to upload those stuff on internet, an actual video on YouTube or whatsoever, or on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, or Twitter. But who cares? I mean, not everyone likes those spoilers anyway. Well, some people may do, but most of us, including myself, honestly do not like spoilers. Tell me about it. So yeah, I just find it disrespecting. Like I said, just like 2 times already. Phew, boy, I just really want this whole sharing leaks, spoilers, and all that to stop because I just really want it to stop, just as much as almost of you guys do. So yeah. Oh, and I forgot to talk about here. I also believe there's going to be a miraculous movie coming out this year. I know, exciting. Well, I don't know what's gonna happen because I also heard that the movie itself is coming onto Netflix. Well, that's the only thing I heard for now because I haven't heard any more news about quite yet. But if I ever heard any more news, I'll probably let you guys know. And besides, I doubt they will put the film into the cinemas or Disney Plus, since Miraculous is now officially Disney thingy for the Disney Channel. Well, let's just say I don't mind Miraculous being on Netflix, but I just can't, or whatever. But I just think Miraculous should be on Disney Plus as well as Netflix. I know some of you may disagree, or some of you may agree, or some of you might have this sort of mixed feelings, like let's say with me, something like that, or having to be in the cinemas instead, something like that. And besides, I've always kind of preferred to watch the film in the cinema, not just watching it on the telly, really, because not everyone seems to watch things in the cinemas lately since nowadays, since, after the COVID sort of thing. So blame the COVID. Huh. Honestly, I'm sick of this whole COVID. Tell me that. I'm just like really, really frustrating now. But not frustrated just in case you guys might feel like worried. So don't worry. I'm not really frustrating, but I am feeling inside, you know? Whew. Don't get me wrong, but I also believe that there's a new sort of ship for Marinette and Zoe, because it did kind of confirmed in this episode Adoration from season 5 that Zoe is confirmed to be gay. Well, a lesbian. Let's just say she has feelings for Marinette. So, let's just say it's been confirmed that she's in love with Marinette the whole time. Ever since this episode in Soul Crusher from season 4. So I kind of find it cute. So don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of haters out there who seem to have this sort of hate sort of thing, like, against towards the people who are part of the LGBT thingy club. Well, there's people who are gay or people who have to sort of switch gender, something like that. But believe me, I kind of feel bad for these people because let's just say they don't deserve hate just because they have their own special thingy kind in for their body and all. Let's just say it's just because someone is in love with their own gender or something, you should never ever show it towards them because it's just wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like this whole against towards people who are gay needs to stop. No matter who hates it, whatever. Whether you like it or not, we should always respect and support those people who are gay. And besides, kind of support Marinette and Zoe anyway, since they both are my first favorites of to be, gay from Miraculous. And my second ones are Grace and Julia. Yeah, tell me about it. So yeah. Okay, so oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I know some of you probably already know. Well, almost everyone already knows that there are some few people who does their own miraculous review sort of thing content on YouTube and that. And I just say to those who does content for Miraculous, these the one who inspired me the most to make me to like to love Miraculous the most of the whole, since this whole thing's going on. Ever since I started watching Miraculous, I'm starting to watch those people's videos who does those contents of Miraculous. And besides, I will never stop watching Miraculous because it's so important to me, and it's very magical somehow. And I would just say it's also, nostalgia. Although I have seemed to be watching it at the age of 17 in 2018, but that doesn't really that matter. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can allow to watch whatever you like or watch. And besides, like I said, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can allow to watch whatever you guys like or watch. I mean, just because some people say you're too old for that, or you're too young for that, or something like that, I mean, I just find it silly sometimes people saying that. To all of us saying that we're too old for watching something like cartoons. I mean, cartoons are not just for children, or for Miraculous sake, or the Disney sake. I'm telling you guys, cartoons is for everyone who loves cartoons, and that is me included. So you guys are not the only people who loves cartoons most of the time. And besides, I love watching cartoons. Although I have seemed to be watching some few things that are a bit grown up for my age, since I am 22. So let's just say I should just watch cartoons the most. And I don't want to hear any people moaning about me watching cartoons or anything because I'm just finding it disrespectful. So move on. Okay, so and I also want to mention, I have seemed to hear some people complaining about the episodes and sometimes not in a correct order. Or just say that it doesn't really that matter sometimes, but it does sometimes. Well, I can't really, can't even get my head straight sometimes when talking about this, about people seem to have this sort of issue about episodes not in the right order. Because if you think about on the event, on the episodes, something like that, the timeline, okay. It is okay to be fair sometimes when watching the episodes when it's not really in the right order, so it doesn't really that bothers me much, so yeah. So, like I mentioned before about the people who inspires me to love Miraculous more, let's just say they are Hayes Clark, Cartoon Hotspot, and Mia B. Show. Yeah, tell me about it. And there are some more. Well, let's just say girls that I mentioned, these are the people that I watch the most. But I also watch Miraculous Ladybug. She is also inspiring me, so I can't forget about her now, can I? Because I did mention those people sometimes before in one of my videos about, when I was talking about defensible marionettes. So yeah. If you haven't not seen my Defense of Marionette video or something, feel free to watch it if you haven't. Well, it's clearly up to you, so don't rush yourself or force yourself, so take your time. Okay, okay, so let's just gonna talk about this sort of issue about Marionette and Adrian, about, having their classmates kind of like interfering with their relationship and that. So you can't possibly blame me for feeling something like that, because I just find it like disrespecting some time to time when people keeps interfering in your own business when it's not really supposed post for them to worry about. It's okay to have friends who draw support, but the more that they keep helping, it's turning into more than interfering. And I just find it a bit stalking, I would say. So you can't possibly blame me for thinking that, but that's just my opinion and thought. So please respect that, okay? No arguments. So yeah. So I did have this community post about that, and I did say in the post by saying, when will both Adrian and Miriam ever going to snap at their own classmates for interfering in their relationship? So let's just say the problem is that the authors always think they have rights to help all the time just because they support Marinette and Adrian's love for each other. Well, I just keep feeling it's wrong sometimes. Let's just say, if you think about it, in every episode, mostly Alia, Nino, and Rose, something like that. Let's just say they always wanted to force Marinette and Adrian to confess their love or something, or to kiss each other, something like that. Well, let's just say that's not what true friends act. If you wanted to help people who have this sort of struggles for relationship, just leave them alone. Like let them have their own time to think about it. You can't just expect them to rush things. It's not right. So like I said, let them have time. As in, let them have time to think of what's the best time and place. So yeah, and I did also mention in the post by saying if I was Marinette, I would really have enough of the others to keep wasting their time on my business, which is not really their concern. So let's just say the important thing in life is the time that matters. Not having others force you to rush things. Rushing people to get close is not right. Like I said, you can't always expecting people to rush or force themselves to think by persuading them because you need to think twice. But otherwise, you're just going to hurt those having the relationship feelings without realizing it. So, like I said, I just find it disrespecting sometimes. So you can't possibly blame me for having this sort of issue. So, and I know I'm not the only one around here. You seem to have this sort of argument about those characters seem to be rushing and forcing you. So yeah, and let's just say I wanted to mention some more of the things to talk about here, and I did say sometimes before that I will going to make another video about Adrian being a sentient monster. Well, I hated to admit it, but I'm sorry to say it. But to those who believe this whole nonsense, or whatever, I mean, like I said, I hated to admit it, but I just find it ridiculous and silly. But I'm not denying anything before you could possibly say it, because I just wanted to say that we can't always expect things to be true all the time. Well, let's just say, believe me or not, but to those who think it's true or is either to be confirmed, but we don't know yet. We don't even know whether if it really is confirmed, like entirely. So like just say, I don't really see any monster in Adrian like at all. And let's just say, let's get to the point. He's still just an ordinary young boy who's just being abused by his own dad. Well, evil dad, Gabriel Legress, who we all know, Hawkmoth, Shadowmoth, or whatever. Well, I have seen people seem to be saying about just because Gabriel is touching or twisting his ring, some people seem to be saying that the rings is controlling Adrian. Well, from my opinion, I don't think it's true. But I don't, well, like I said, I can't think straight sometimes, but the way Gabriel say things to Adrian, I just think it's somehow hypnotizing Adrian. That's what I'm saying. So, like I said, just because Gabriel is touching his or twisting his ring, that doesn't always mean he's controlling his son to obey. I just think Adrian only says yes, father, So let's just say maybe he's only saying yes, father, because he is too scared of his own dad. That's what almost every kids do nowadays when they get abused and that. So if you think about it, but yeah. So that's just my personal opinion. So let's not change my thoughts or anything. And let's not argue about it either. So yeah. Oh boy. And I also had this sort of question or theory. So let's just say, if you think about Chloe always bullies Marinette, I keep always thinking, what if Marinette was like Sabrina? I mean, I always keep thinking, what is Sabrina? Marinette was like Sabrina because Sabrina was always seen along with Chloe and that, and also worse for her, and Sabrina ended up having another Chloe's actions and not Chloe's friend anymore. So, what if Marinette did the same thing? As in, what if Marinette is Chloe's former friend, but decided she doesn't want to be friends with a bully and tries to move on? But Chloe gets determined to show Marinette that she is the boss and tells Marinette she makes a bad mistake, calling her a traitor or something. She said in the episode Derision after when Adrian finally gives up hope on Chloe and not be friends with her anymore, and that's when Chloe decided to call Adrian a traitor. And then she just wants to make Marinette's life as hell. So that's just my thoughts or whatever. So don't get me wrong, it is a good theory to question about. So don't get me wrong, but that is my personal thought. Well, we never know. It might be true, or it might be not, but I still think it's a good question just to think about. I hope you like this sort of question and theory, so yeah. Just before I could possibly go, I had to admit, you probably seen my community post about it like yesterday or last night, I think. Well, let's just say, I did kind of admit that I started to like Marriott more. Well, not like, because I did say already that I'm definitely straight. I am not in love with anyone, and I don't really have intentions on to be in love with anyone at all because I'm just rather stay single forever and ever. So, like I said, I'm not into boys, and I also am not into girls. So I'm sorry for saying it, but it's kind of true. So I hope you can kind of able to understand and accept that I'm definitely straight. And I'm sorry to upset you, but yeah. I just wanted to make sure everyone can understand that I do support the LGBT sort of thing, and I'm definitely straight. But I do like Marinette, so don't get me wrong. And besides, some of you already know that I do have like a little crush on this guy with the name Elliot Carrington. He used to be the guy that I usually kind of preferred, who used to play the character Bobby Beale on this British show called EastEnders. So yeah, well, I still like him no matter what. But like I said, I'm not always into boys because sometimes I do sometimes find boys can be a bit silly, but in a good way. But yeah. Okay, boys or girls, whatever. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy my video, and if you wanted to ask me any sort of questions or whatever, be free to do so in the comments. Or if you're new to my channel, be free to subscribe and give her a like, and press the notification bell to receive my videos every day. And I'll see you guys later. Bye everyone.